are you doing? I'm doing well. It has been approximately 3 years since the last time I actually recorded a podcast. And even then, I wouldn't say that I was really recording a podcast last time I talked. I think I was almost exclusively just doing yarn crates unboxings of some kind, which, don't get me wrong, were really fun, but like, I don't think I've really shared anything that I've knit in 3 years. Long story short, my life kind of exploded. When my life goes crazy, it actually goes a bit nuclear. I do have a new-ish Instagram account that I'm using. Same username, Jen Likes Yarn. So for those of you who have been following that, you'll know like probably some of the backstory between that and my blog. So if you want to figure out why things have been going crazy and why I really haven't been knitting as much or didn't really feel like podcasting, you can check that out. I'm not really getting into the details here, but suffice to say, I am knitting again. I never really entirely stopped. I just was not doing it as much, but I was still collecting yarn like the naughty knitter that I am. But yeah, so I am trying to spin up my Beer Knits podcast again, at least in some way, shape, or form. It's a lot of work, actually, and I just don't want to. It made me feel like I was doing a lot of work between show notes, commenting, editing, all of that stuff. I don't want to do all of that. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to simplify the process for me so it's not so much work. So we'll see what happens when I actually post this and what information comes out of it. So I guess we shall wait and see. In terms of projects, I have made quite a bit since the last time I saw you, or at least have started working on things. Obviously, I don't have all of it here to show me today because we might be here for hours and nobody wants that. So I brought a few things that I'm working on or have finished, like this guy right here, to talk about. So I guess we can launch into that. So this is it's called Washed Out, and the pattern's by Joji Locatelli. And if you really like the fade patterns where colors are fading into each other, this is kind of like a play on that because it uses 3 colors. The yarn that I used was from Ramsey Yarn Company, based in the Ozarks. And you can see that it started, so this is where you started the pattern, and that's in one color, and then it fades into a darker color, and then you use a lighter color on the very end. And it is a very big shawl. When I went to go block this, it took up like half my living room. What I like about it is that you have a lot of kind of mindless rows of just garter stitch that increases on one side. It's obviously asymmetrical. So you're only increasing on one side, but it's all garter, so you don't have to think about it. Then you have, a few rows of very simple lace to add interest. This was the hardest one for me, believe it or not, because you had to figure out how many rows of one color were in between the purple, and I just, for the life of me, could not count for some reason, and it was getting real old, so I was tired of that. I was glad when that stopped. Then you have another round of that same lace pattern, and then you just start fading. Then you have a giant section of purple, which again, very mindless. Another fade out when you add your light color. And then what I liked is at the end, you have this really pretty lace, and it's upside down when I do it that way, so let's not do that. But you get this really pretty lace pattern that's enjoyable because the entire shawl isn't lace. It's been pretty mindless up until now. Now you get like a section that has a lot of interest, and when you wear it, this is the part that shows the most. So everyone kind of sees that detail. And then on the end, you just do a very simple peacoat bind off. So I actually started this last, I don't know, March or April or something like that. I think I was knitting it at the bar on St. Patrick's Day. hence Beer Knits, the name of this podcast. I like beer. See, I think I was knitting this at the bar last St. Patrick's Day when I started it, and I finally finished it now. It's been languishing in a corner somewhere for quite some time. But there it is, and like I said, it's huge, and I really like it. I love the colors. And I think the pattern was $5 when I bought it from Ravelry back in the day. I had bought the yarn from Ramsey Yarn Company, and I didn't know what to use it for because it came in like a pack of 3 because it was like a fade kit. But I didn't want to do like one of the fades, and I saw this and I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I do have a little bit of yarn left over, so that'll get worked into like some type of scrap blanket at some point, because we all know how our plans work in this community. They sometimes happen. Yeah, so that's that. And I really like it. And because it's so big, it's really warm, even though it's fingering weight yarn. So love it. That's that. Another bigger project that I'm working on is a blanket for my boyfriend, because I don't know how, but he managed to con me into doing this for him. It's really simple. It's just a corner to corner blanket using a bunch of Lion Brand Mandala yarn in like mostly blues, as you can see. So these guys right here, it's ginormous. And I think when all is said and done, I'll have used 10 cakes of it. It's really warm. His house is really cold. So when I go over there, I work on this so I can cover myself in it and be warm. Yeah, again, super simple, kind of mindless. This was a really good, I started it like New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I think it was New Year's Eve. Just because I wanted something quick and easy to work on. I had just gotten done knitting some more intense projects, and I wanted something that I didn't have to really think about. So that was this. And he likes it, and I guess doesn't think it's as mindless as I do, so it works. He's not too happy with this yellow part, but we got this yarn because AC Moore is going out of business, and they were discounting their yarn, although we did figure out that the yarn discounts were not actually that great. So we kind of picked up whatever yarn was like acceptable at the time, and then as I kept running out of yarn, we ended up buying the colors he actually liked. So now there's just like this fluorescent yellow corner of this blanket that I guess is going to be my side. And then, because I am a glutton for punishment, I have started working on this another corner to corner blanket, but it's a giraffe, and I want to dye. I finally moved to using or making like little bobbins for the different colors because I couldn't take it anymore. It's been an experience. But I mean, it started out easy enough, right? Like, this is exactly what you would expect. I think it goes, yeah, it's this way. This is, you know, your normal, like, okay, color changes in the middle, that's cool, fine. But then over here, the lines change and go this way. And I've done a bunch of corner to corners before. I haven't done a graph one. And so now I'm just like, all right, we're doing bobbins. But when it's done, it's going to be a big giraffe's head. I'm using neutral colors because they're using like creams and whites and grays in the nursery. And then the giraffe head, which I'm like halfway done with the neck, is gonna be in the center. And it's actually quite a big blanket. Her shower's next weekend, so I don't think this is happening. I think the kid's gonna be like 7 by the time I sort out this mess. I do like it. Like, I like the way that it works, but labors of love, right? I don't know if I do it again, but it does look really cool. For this one, I'm using Hobby Lobby's. I love this yarn. I try not to shop at Hobby Lobby, but I know that my choice doesn't really impact other people, and they do have what I think is like the best acrylic yarn for Afghans and stuff, so I bought it there for her. They also seem to have like the biggest color variety, and I knew that I was going to need a lot of neutrals that weren't like just straight up brown. I needed mostly grays and stuff. So that's why I went there. And I have no idea when that's gonna be done. Then I'm meeting up. Last year, I went to a workshop with Stephen West at one of my local yarn stores, which was awesome, by the way. I blogged about it, but I obviously didn't make a video about it because I wasn't doing that at the time. But I went to this workshop and he taught us, you know, like shawl construction, what to think about. And one of the girls that sat next to me, like we've kind of been talking for the past year, and we're finally getting together tonight to have drinks because she is not breeding a human being at the moment. So we're finally meeting up and I need a project to take to the bar with me. So I found in one of my project bags from like 9.5 years ago, this sock that I haven't touched in at least 2-3 years. And I didn't feel like working on any of the other socks that I have going for me because why would I want to be productive? I don't know. And I remembered really liking these and I had no idea where they had gone. So I was excited to find these, and I'll be able to pick it back up today while we're at one of our many local breweries, getting a drink and knitting and chatting and who knows. But I don't even remember what the pattern really is. I know it's free and I got it off Ravelry, but basically one round is a straight round of knitting, and then the next one is knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. And then another straight round of knitting, and then the next row was purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. So that, like the back of the sock just looks like regular stockinette, and then this side has like that really cool, like sort of honeycomb texture, I guess you could say. I don't know. But again, I haven't touched this in ages, and it went through, my basement flooded, and this project bag was down there. It was actually this project bag that has my Speckle and Pop MCal shawl in there, again from like 2.5 years ago. Luckily nothing was really damaged, and it's nothing that, you know, a bath and soak won't wash out. I wasn't planning on showing this, but yeah, Speckle and Pop, really cute. Probably never gonna, I'm really close to the end though, so maybe I will finish it. I don't know, I'm like on the last couple rounds, and I put it down, and I don't know what's gonna happen to that one. But yeah, it sat in my basement from the flood for far too long, and it was a very sad day, and I'm gonna try to save it, I hope. We'll see what happens. But yeah, then I found this bag in there from these socks that I had picked up 3 years ago, and I'd been looking for them. I couldn't find them in my craft room, had no idea where they were. And then when I was going through my other project bags, I found that my bigger project bags had smaller project bags in them, as you do. And that's where I found these guys. So I will be working on those today, and should be easy enough for like sitting around and talking. It doesn't require a lot of concentration. So that should be fun, and I'm excited to see her because, again, it's been a year. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could insert pictures here of some other stuff I've made recently. I've made 2 hats for my boyfriend. I wonder if I can even remember the names of them. One was a brioche hat by Jonathan Tallow, and another was from Tin Can Knits, the barley hat. So I made that for him. And then for Christmas, it's not knitting, but I cross-stitched him an elephant, and that was really cute. And then his mom likes butterflies, so I crocheted her a butterfly doily. And that one wasn't difficult once I figured out how to make the butterflies, but it was tedious because it was made in pieces, which a lot of bigger doilies are. But this was like each individual wing was a separate piece, and so there were just like ends coming out of like everything. So yeah, that was why I had to start a corner to corner mindless project. But yeah, I mean, this podcast was not very long, if you can even consider it a podcast. It's more of like a show and tell, I guess, of just stuff that's been happening, and I feel kind of awkward talking to myself again, but I'm sure I'll get over that like I have in the past. And yeah, I mean, if you're interested in seeing what I have to say after 3 years, then make sure to smash that like button, as the kids say. Um, like, subscribe, set up alerts, whatever. I have no idea how frequently I'm going to do these, but I do want to get back in the swing of things because I miss talking to you guys, and so much has changed since the last time I podcasted, but a lot has stayed the same too. And I feel like with Instagram, I'm reconnecting with a lot of people that I used to podcast with. So that's been fun. And yeah, I guess that's everything. And hopefully I will talk to you all soon. Bye.